Hey sports fans, Greg Med from Med4Knife at MKT USA here at our place in Phoenix, Arizona. How are you all doing today? So we've had a model out for quite some time now called Smooth Criminal. We made an auto version of it, and Smoky Mountain Knife Works is kind of our launch partner for this cool project. We're doing the knife in S45 for them, and that'll be kind of their thing. Just a little primer about S45. So S35VN was developed by Crucible Metals, and we get it from Niagara Specialty Metals. It's been one of the premier boutique knife steels for years now. It was developed in conjunction with knife makers, and I know Chris Reeve had a lot to do with kind of the direction of that steel. I find it to be about an ideal all-around metal for making knives. Unfortunately, in our global world, the Chinese got their hands on it, and they're making knives with it now too. So after consternation and a big push by myself and various other makers, we kind of made a run at them and said, look, you need to make a defining product just for us. So they made S45VN, which is a very gentle adjustment to S35, and for the American market only for the time being, whatever that means. So we did this knife at S45VN. Now, it's harder to switch everything over on knife steel than you can possibly imagine with all the pieces in flux and the customers and hubbub it creates. But we took this knife, basically the Smooth Criminal, which is our little button lock flipper, which is just a little machine gun of a knife after we kind of got this sorted out. It was my first button lock flipper. And it's just a great everyday carry, pocket-friendly knife. We took this knife and we made an auto version of it. So the exact same knife, you'll notice it doesn't have a tab sticking out. Now this one's in black with stainless and tie hardware. That's the action on it. It's got really nice action. There's really no safety. It just is what it is. It's a really clean, straightforward knife. That one's without an edge. This one's with an edge. Look at, I go to flip it. So it goes out like a beast. It's got great badging. It's our 6061 slabs with integral back strap. They've been Type 3 Class 2 hard anno. For those of you who don't know what that means, Type 3 Class 2 hard anno is a classification of anodization done to aluminum. Now, those of you who are into high-end knives, titanium, we anodize it, but we really don't anodize it. What we do is we electro-oxidize it. We put it in fluid and electrolyte, and we run some electrical charge through it, and some free electrons bond on it, and they bend the light a little bit, and you get some colors. And you get a very narrow band of colors, very, very thin dimensionally, really almost no dimensionality to it. Hard anodization done to aluminum was kind of developed for military purposes, and it has a lot of industrial applications now. But what it does, much like case hardening, is it leaves a really cool hard skin on aluminum. Now, what's interesting about it, in particular, Type 3 Class 2, it has buildup and penetration. So whatever the size is of your object, it will build anywhere between 3 and 7/10 maybe of thickness, and it'll penetrate anywhere between 3 and 7/10 of thickness. So a typical light anno is very, very thin, not hard anno, just regular aluminum anno. And you, after it's been anode, you put it in dye, and it soaks up the dye, and that gives you your color. Well, if you have a very thin layer, it soaks up a very thin layer that's almost translucent of that color, and it reflects the metal underneath, and you get the bright pinks and the bright blues that you see on bicycle parts. What you see on our stuff, these very dark colors, is because there's many, many more layers of buildup and more dimension to the thickness than there is in typical anodizing. And due to that thickness, that color penetrates down into those pores, so you get a very deep layer of color. All of that light color layered on top of itself gets you a really, really deep, dark, rich color. That's a result of Type 3 Class 2 hard anno. If you get bright colors that have a flatness to them, or I would say a sheenness to them, and when I mean flat, I mean they have like a one-dimensionality to them, those are typically going to be your not real hard anno. Real hard anno, it's got a very dull look to it, a very deep color, and it's super hard, holds up well in the pocket. Coins aren't going to scratch. You can drop it on the ground. It's going to dent minimally. Just a wonderful product, much more expensive, much more problematic, and that buildup has so much dimension, you have to go back and ream all your holes and kind of redimension, requalify the critical dimensions on the knife afterwards. Anyways, that is our Smooth Criminal Auto and S45 being done for Smoky Mountain Knife Works. You can find that at smkw.com. They are one of the big, great servers of the knife industry. They are the big machine, and they're honestly, they're a good friend to the company, and they're a great American knife partner. I know they sell a lot of imported stuff because that's the world we're in, but they're really good partners with the American-made movement as well. And I hope you guys check them out. Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Smooth Criminal Auto, S45VN. You can only find it there.